Okay, welcome to the Housing Unit Question and Answer video. This is the video where we will answer your questions about purchasing homes, living in homes, renting, and living while renting, and miscellaneous questions. So let's begin. So question, how much should your house rental be? Also, how do you know the price range for purchasing or renting? What's your, quote, budget for purchasing or rental? Industry standard and what they suggest is look at it as how much it costs to live per month. Okay, if you own your home, it's a mortgage plus the taxes, plus the utilities, and plus repairs, everything you pay for your house per month. If it's renting, it's everything your utilities, the rent per month. And 30%, and the answer is 30% of your yearly gross pay from your job. For example, if you make $60,000 before taxes, that means you can spend up to $18,000 per year on living, which comes out to be $1,500, $1,500 per month. Now, if you go over 30% and start spending more, it becomes harder to budget, and you're going to have to give up other things you want to buy in order. It just makes your budget tighter. And the cheaper your pay is, the cheaper your percentage of your pay is, the easier it is to budget. Now, this is not necessarily a goal. Some people will figure this out and then go look for the most expensive house or apartment that fits their budget. It's not necessarily a goal. It's the level where if you go over it, you're going to have trouble financially. It's not what you're trying to get up to. You try to find the most reasonably priced place that fulfills what you want. This is a limit. It's not a goal. The next group of questions have to do with credit score. Does credit score affect buying a house? Yes. Your credit score, it affects the interest rate the lenders charge you for borrowing the money to buy the house. That's a mortgage. And the better your credit score, the lower the interest rate. The worse your credit score, the higher your interest rate. It can be thousands of dollars in difference over the course of your loan. It is very important if you are buying a house that your credit score is good. The credit score can also affect whether someone rents to you. Landlords very often will pull your credit score, and if it's bad, they legally can say, no, I don't want you, because credit score is how good you are at paying back your loans. And so someone with a bad credit score has proven that they don't pay their loans. And so a landlord will say, I don't want someone renting from me when they have proven they don't pay their loans. Credit score is incredibly important for finding places to live. If you don't pay your mortgage and get foreclosed on, will you have trouble buying another house or renting? Yes, because when you get foreclosed upon, the lender, the banks, will tell the credit reporting agencies that you defaulted on your loan, and that will ruin your credit score. And then trying to get another mortgage for another house or trying to rent if the landlord sees your credit score will be very difficult. Very difficult. If you are renting and get evicted, will it affect your credit score? Maybe, maybe not. The landlord can't call the credit agencies and tell them that you broke the lease because you aren't borrowing money from the landlord. But if the landlord takes you to court and you get a judgment against you, court judgments go on to the credit report, and so it will be reflected that you have a judgment against you in some certain cases. And so that's how it would affect your credit score if you got evicted. What is the techniques for someone in their early 20s to save money faster? The first answer is not with housing. It's make a budget. Stop spending. Make a budget. Stick to the budget. Stop your unnecessary spending. And try to use your time to get more income. Now, on a living situation, to save money the fastest way, the best way to save money, if you can, is live with your family for a few years in your early 20s. If you can find a living situation where you are not paying then you will be able to save money. Remember, they say that people spend up to 30% of their income, before tax income, on living expenses. And if you have a free living situation, you can live with family and you don't have to spend, you can save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a couple years. Your next living situation that you could use to save money is live with roommates when you're young. The more people that are living in a house or apartment, the cheaper the fixed costs. And if you did buy a house and do buy a house, chances are you have extra rooms. You could rent those rooms to other people, and they will be paying for your mortgage. Now, all of these come with positives and negatives, but from a pure financial standpoint, this is a way to drastically reduce your living expenses. What are the most important influences on local costs of buying versus renting? And the answer is supply, demand, and taxes. So how many houses are there? How many people want to buy a house? How many apartments are there? How many people want to live in an apartment? How high are the taxes for both owning the houses and the taxes the government puts on rental properties versus owning properties? So it really is very specific to each location, and those are the three main factors: the supply, the demand, and the differing taxes between buying versus renting. In a big city, which is better, buying or renting? I am going to get out of this one by saying it all depends on which city and your own situation. Sometimes it is better to buy, sometimes it is better to rent, sometimes it's better to commute, sometimes it's better to... This one all depends on your situation and the specific city. Which is the best mortgage loan lenders, and what is the lowest interest rate that one can get? Well, when you're looking for the best mortgage lenders, you're looking mostly at lowest closing costs to borrow the money, and the lowest interest rates, because even a slight difference in interest rates comes out to be a lot of money on a $150,000, $200,000 loan per year. So you're looking at lowest closing costs, lowest interest rates, and some people like local mortgage lenders. Some lenders, like local banks, service their mortgage in-house, and they will always keep the mortgage, and they're local, so you can walk into any branch and talk to somebody. You can even develop a relationship with a loan originator to answer all your questions. So that is valued by a lot of people. If you go with a national lender, okay, they will almost always, you have a question, send you to a 1-800 number, and national lenders have acceptable and often very good customer service, but they're not local. They're call centers. Lowest closing costs, lowest interest rates, and some people like local. You have to balance those three things to find what's best for you. What is the best interest rate? Currently, in the 2020s, early 2020s, we are experiencing the best interest rates ever. On a 15-year mortgage, you can get somewhere around 2.7%. On a 30-year mortgage, you can get a 3.2% interest rate. Interest rates have been up to 8 or 9% within the last 20 years. So there are times in history where people are paying 8% per year to borrow money for their house. Currently, it is incredibly the lowest it's ever been, which makes home ownership even more attractive at this point. Here we have the questions, isn't a house an investment? And the answer is yes. There's always the question of where are you going to put your money? Are you going to invest your money in the stock market? Are you going to invest your money in bonds or CDs? Are you going to invest your money in your house? And it is an investment, just like anything else you can invest in. So we get these types of questions over and over. Wouldn't buying a home be smarter because it appreciates in value? Isn't buying a home a type of investment like stocks because the price can go up over time? If you buy a home doesn't the value go higher instead of renting? It comes to the simple overall question of what's better for you financially, renting or buying. It is not always true that putting your money in a house will make you more money than investing it somewhere else. There are all the different factors you have to consider. A couple factors I want to make clear again. The values of houses, yes, typically go up. Sometimes they go down, and sometimes they stay the same. The question is, what will the house you buy do? And by how much? The average says that the average values of homes go up like 3%, maybe 4% a year, which is about half the average increase of stocks in the stock market. But they could go down. We have housing crashes that could reduce a house's value by 20% for years until it comes back. You could buy a house in a place that is growing. You could get lucky and buy a house, and in a few years it's up a vast amount. See, you just don't know whether it will go up, go down, or stay the same. If you knew, everyone would buy where the housings go up by a lot, but we don't. You can't bet on it going up, down, or staying the same. All you can say is it probably will go up a little bit, and it might go up a lot, and it might go down a lot. You also have to take into account your house is an investment, but there are costs to buy that house, and there are costs to sell that house. You might have to pay 10% of that house's value to buy it and then sell it. Okay, so don't forget the cost to buy and the cost to sell. And don't forget, as you're purchasing the house, every single year you're paying interest on the loan you took. When interest rates are super low, like they currently are and have been, it makes owning a house more attractive. But if interest rates are really high, no matter how much that house goes up in value, you're not going to see it because you've been paying 8% per year if interest rates are high. And don't forget the taxes. Those are monies you're not getting back. So, and how inexpensive is it to rent? You have to look at your own local area. And the final thing I want to mention on this is, let's say your house is going up, it's not liquid. You will only get the money out of your house when you sell it. And that's a process. So always remember, if you are investing in your own house, and many people do, that money is tied up until you sell. And just as a word of warning, if you owe a lot on your house and the market goes way down, sometimes you can't sell because what your house is valued at is less than what you actually owe. That's called being upside down, and it traps people in their investment sometimes. But that's kind of detailed. The end answer for using a house as an investment is personal. Where will you make the most money? Are you able to rent and save your money in your retirement accounts? Or do you need your house to force you to save money because if you miss mortgage payments, you'll be foreclosed upon? What are the local costs, taxes, interest rates? It really, really, really is a complicated, personal question to answer.